Assalamualaikum and a very good day I wish to all of you. Welcome to our forum for this week. As well as we know, pandemic COVID-19 is a current big issue which enable you to think about the topics that we had highlighted, and we're trying to solve the issues together by sharing beneficial and interesting idea and though which will be delivered by our guests. Today we would like to highlight a topic that is quite interesting to be discussed on, which is effects on pandemic on our education, good or bad. I am sure that every one of you has your own opinion, and though with this topic, before we proceed to our forum, I would like to introduce our panelists today. Our first panelist is Dr. Delvien Derry bin Sungpin, President of National Union of the Teaching Profession. How are you today, Doctor?
Yeah, I am good and glad to be here this morning.
Okay, next to him is our specially panel 2 is Dato Muhammad Izzat bin Muhammad Nuruddin, Vice President of Women, Family and Community Development. And the last one is Dr. Ku Muhammad Izzuddin bin Ku Muhammad Shah as panel 3, Counselor in Himaya Child and Psychology Center. Before we start our forum in details, let me explain about our topic today. The COVID-19 crisis is exacerbating this learning crisis, as many as 94% of children across the world have been out of school due to closures. Learning losses from school shutdowns are further compounded by inequities, particularly for students who are already left behind by education systems. Many countries and schools have shifted to online learning during school closures as a stopgap measure. However, this is not possible in many places, as less than half of the households in low and middle income countries have internet access. There is some disagreement on online learning, so much so that some say there are more disadvantages and than the advantages to education system during this pandemic. Without wasting time, let's hear the opinion on our title from the first invited panel 1, Dr. Delvenderi.
Thanks, Mr. Moderator. This pandemic caused shutdown of education systems and thus creating the largest impact on students. Approximately 94% of total students around the world. When discussing the positive impact of pandemic, one thing that comes into mind is integration of technology into education system. Education and technologies always comes together, but with the pandemic, it took new level. Although this can be seen as forced transition, but at the time only feasible solution. However, integration of new technology into education does not mean that it will improve interaction between teachers and students, meaning that teachers will deliver material better and students will receive it and fully understand. New technology provides more possibilities for both teachers and students, but only when it used correctly. Okay, that's all. I pass back to our moderator. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Delvin. From your explanation, you strongly agree that online learning is good for our young generation. Let's move to Dr. Izzat. What is your opinion?
Thank you, Mr. Moderator. As for me, I am agree with the opinion for our topic today. Here are some of my point of view. The benefit that I can see from the student are they are able to learn faster during the online. They can learn at their own pace, rereading or skipping through the subject and choose they choose as they choose. There is also evidence that learning online can be more effective in a numbers of ways. Research suggests that online learning increase retention of information and also take less time. On average, students retain between 25% and 60% more material when learning online compared to only 8% to 10% in a classroom setting. Thank you. Passing back to you, Mr. Moderator.
Thank you, Dr. Izzat, for your opinion. So, Dr. Ku Izzuddin, what about you? What about your point of view from our topic today?
Thank you, Mr. Moderator. Sorry, Dr. Izzat. I can be agree with your opinion. For me, I can see a lot of disadvantages of online learning. One of it is a lack of interaction you will get with classmates and instructor. For example, in the class, students have a chance to speaking in class presentation and discuss and give their own opinion clearly. But in online learning, the student just can sit at the front of the laptop, type their own opinion and wait their answer. The second disadvantage is missing out non-verbal communication. As we know, non-verbal communication is very important. That verbal communication and non-verbal communication is also known as body language, which refer to among other things, gesture pupil make while speaking, eye contact, and the way they stand. In online learning, students just can communicate as alternate words. I pass to moderator back.
Thank you, Dr. Ku Izzuddin. That was a great point to be said. So, all panelists, is there any opinion you want to add?
Thank you, Mr. Moderator. I have a few points to support my opinion earlier. Online learning is other option for students to improve their knowledge. For your information, other than president of teachers community, I am also a lecturer. I also encourage my students to learn English by online. For instance, I suggest them to surf MyLine website. For your information, this website provides additional resource for learning in English for academic and professional purpose. Besides that, it does for learning in English, it does also provide a platform for self-access, interactive learning. The learning process will be more attractive and interesting instead of learning in class. There are many activities provided in the website. The most attract me is the student forum site. This is place for sharing of experience and idea as student in a university. They can express their view and opinions on academic and non-academic issues, seek assistance, or they can communicate with other fellow students. The other one is Correct My English site. Okay. This is a platform where students can post a short text that has written and other user could help correct the text. I believe that this is one of the effective ways of learning, but yes, there will be pros and cons. It depends on the student to decide. Thank you so much. See you back, Mr. Moderator.
Thank you, Dr. Delvien. So, Dato Izzat, anything you want to add it to support Dr. Delvien?
Thank you, Mr. Moderator. For my conclusion, there are other benefits that we can get, such as parents can become more engaged with their children, education, and had a better understanding of their learning levels. Besides, the mindset of students has changed drastically over the past 1 year. A recent global student survey revealed that 78% of literature student in Malaysia would prefer online learning to conventional face-to-face session if it means cheaper fee. A similar trend is also observed in other countries. For example, prefer for online learning is 83% in Canada and 78% in China. That's all my point of view today. Thank you.
Thank you, Dato' Muhammad Izzat. We move to our last panelist and Dr. Ku Izzuddin. Anything both of you want to conclude from your opinion earlier?
Thank you, Mr. Moderator. I would like to add a last point of view on why I am 100% saying that pandemic are giving bad effect to our education. The point is a sluggish financial issue of students and the exaggerating social economic difference. Why I am saying this is because not all of our Malaysian students are capable to have our own laptop or even smartphone for them to access this online learning that's been occurred due to pandemic effect towards education. Since as we all know that since pandemic, all education are based on online learning 100%. Okay, let's say at this current technology era, all of our Malaysian students do have their own gadget, but don't forget about internet connection. We all know that we need to allocate some amount of money in accessing and having the data connection. As one research that has been conducted in UMP, there are 70% students that are affected with financial issue, and according to Dr. AWANG, lecturer of Genius Ehsan College, USIM, that internet access and stability of teaching and learning platform are one of negative or bad impact of education due to the pandemic, other than the problem of emotion management and also holistic assessment. Lastly, in order to succeed at online learning, you have to have some specific skills. You have to be self-motivation, responsible for your own learning, and have good time management skill. If you don't have those skills, traditional class may be a better way choice for you. Thank you.
Thank you to all of our panelists today. Finally, we have come to the end of our forum where we have shared a lot of knowledge which we don't even know or thought before. Well, from what all our panelists shared just now, there are good and also some bad effects of COVID-19 pandemic on our education. So it is everyone's right to choose on how to deal with it. Before we end our forum today, I would like to open up a few moments for question and answer section so audience can ask our panelists in the chat box if there is any doubt or questions that run in mind. Okay, we have questions from Lisa. What do you see as the challenges involved in ODL, online distance learning?
Okay, thank you, Miss Lisa, for the question. So the answer of these questions is back to all the point that I had been stated early before, which is passive online distance learning by students, unprepared teaching staff for ODN. Third is internet access and stability of teachings and learning platform. Lastly is the holistic assessments. Okay, that's all.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Delvien. Question 2, also from Miss Lisa. How do we protect the mental health of students in pandemic situation?
Thank you,
Okay.
Miss Lisa, for that's good question. The COVID-19 pandemic has had a major effect on our life. it is natural to feel stress, anxiety, grief, and worry during COVID-19 pandemic. Here are some strategies that can be used during this challenging time to protect student mental health. First of all, take care of your physical health. Second, ask for professional help if you feel like it. Third, take a break from social media. Fourth, find new way to connect with friends. That's all.
Thank you, Dr. IZZUDIN. Question 3 from Fatin. She said, how will the school follow up with students who cannot attend the class?
Thank you for the question, Ms. Fatin. Almost all online classes require students to respond and communicate with their peers in a discussion board or forum. The board usually contains questions that pertain to the weekly topic. Students post a specific numbers of response, or their response must be in specific length for credit and attendance. Here are some strategies how to follow up with students who cannot attend class during online learning. Okay, first, class recording can be passed to the absent student. Second, schedule one-on-one time. And next, connect with students via email and messaging. Lastly, we can communicate with students and parents about their problems. Okay, that's all.
Thank you, Dr. Delvien. Question 4 also from Fatin. How do you ensure the quality of online course?
Thank you, Miss Fatin. There are several ways to ensure online course quality, but the most important is communication. Communication is obviously the basic element of online classroom. The teacher should communicate with their student and student should able to respond back. Online classes using video conference, discussion forum, mail or message, etc. are usually tool for communication. But make sure from time to time that these are all working properly. So no student will be left out.
Thank you, Dato' Muhammad Izzat. And that's all for today. I will end our forum discussion. We have come to an end for the forum. Yeah, and with thanks to all of the panelists and the audience here today. Thank you and Assalamualaikum.